Welcome to episode number 6 of the Career Breakthrough series. I'm your host, Paul Ames, and on the show today, we've got my good friend, Cherie Aimée. Cherie is a #1 best-selling author, an international speaker, and also the creator of the Busting Out of Obscurity, Leadership and Branding Academy. Cherie has gone through such an amazing and extraordinary experience, and she is most known for her extraordinary near-death story, which selected her as one of 16 near-death experiences out of 3,800 people in the world. Her story has been featured and published in the book, God's Fingerprints, Impressions of Near-Death Experiences. She's been featured on various media and international media channels and stations, and her story is well known by top cardiothoracic surgeons and medical doctors around the world, as she shattered several medical records, and it's incredible that she's still alive today. Guys, Cherie shares such an amazing and heartfelt story in this episode, so stay tuned, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the inside. Guys, welcome to episode number 6 of the Career Breakthrough series. I'm your host, Paul Ames, and on the show today, I've got my incredible friend, Cherie Aimée. Cherie is a #1 Amazon bestseller. She's also gone through some incredible feats in her life. She went through a near-death experience where she came back and also had a heart transplant. Cherie is such an inspiring and motivating person, and I love following her and the content she puts out. She had to teach herself from the bed how to how to walk and how to get back into life after having a heart transplant. She was so active on Periscope, which most people would be relaxing, and Cherie is pushing it and living life to the fullest. Cherie, I want to welcome you to the show. It's such an honor to have you on here. I've been speaking to you for quite a while on Facebook and social media, and it's so good to have you on the show. I know what tremendous value you're going to add to my audience.
Thank you so much, Paul. It is an honor to be on your show today. I am really so thrilled that you asked me. I was so excited when you asked me, and I'm honored with your whole lineup so far in your show. So it's a pleasure for me, and I truly appreciate your friendship as well. So I'm here to help bring value to your show, whatever I can do.
Thank you, Cherie. I appreciate that. So, Cherie, I just wanted to ask you, basically, what was your upbringing like? So, did you have some positive influences regarding your career? Did you have, your parents help you with a lot of good positive influences, or did you have a lot of negative influences towards your career growing up?
Definitely positive. Both of my parents have, they've been workers, since a young age, just as myself. They definitely have incredible work ethic. I definitely picked up a lot of that ethic in business, through them. I started working very early, age 12. I think I worked at the local library. So, and I got my little check. It was like the joint checking account with my mom. And my mom, she started off in television advertising. So she definitely was in a very male-dominated field. And she definitely resonated that she was in sales as well. So she had to embody that, more of that masculine energy to really survive, among such a male dominated industry. And I think that kind of strong, tough side that you guys see in me online, definitely stems from that. So yeah, I've definitely grown up around that. Both my parents eventually shifted around my college years, university years. They shifted into entrepreneurship. So I've actually kind of been molded, right, to succeed in the corporate world, and then also as an entrepreneur. So I definitely did have that background, which was a blessing. Wow, that's brilliant. And I can imagine it must be tough, stepping into a male-dominated world and having to forge yourself out of that. So, a hat goes off to your mum and to you. You're amazing people. And congratulations on that. Thank you. Thank you. So, Cherie, what would you say would be your biggest learnings and biggest takeaways from what you've previously done in your previous careers? What are some of the biggest things that you've learned and has helped forge and mold who you are? Yeah, what a great question. I've learned so much. I mean, I basically, right after college, I think my first job was landing a job on a trading floor of AIG.
Oh, wow.
Which, right? And like little old me, like right after university, I'm like, what the heck is this? There was like men jumping on tables, like screaming. And like, I was like, I don't know if I'm cut out for this. But, you know, I would say the biggest takeaway from, you know, being in corporate jobs like that, I've worked on at Microsoft headquarters in Seattle or Washington. I've worked for large engineering firms, like huge corporate engineering firms. And then I found my way into being a programmer and literally going from the tech world into advertising, marketing, and branding. And that's kind of where a lot of my expertise that you see me use today in social media comes from. Just 16 years experience of working for Fortune 500 brands, helping them technology-wise, you know, branding, marketing, to, you know, very well-known household names, right? So I have a lot of experience on multi-million-dollar projects. And the biggest thing that really that whole previous life, you know, really did for me is it gave me such impeccable work productivity.
Yep.
To the point where once I shifted and launched my own digital tech firm, which happened before my whole tragedy, I just was molded. I already knew what needed to be done. I knew how to run different departments. I was literally like, you know, I'm like your best employee because like I'll go above and beyond.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I'm somebody that will take on other roles than myself, right? So I learned so much about so many different departments, no matter what job I was in. And it really ended up giving me the skills to then become an entrepreneur and know how to hire, know how to budget, know how to do the graphic design, understand what legal elements need to be taking place. I mean, I didn't walk in blindly, let's say, to launching my own business. So I would really say just that ability to just, you know, I can sit in a boardroom and know exactly what's going on and command a room. And that's really, I think, such a gift, especially online on social media where it's so noisy and a lot of times you don't know who knows what. It's helped me understand who really knows what they're talking about online.
Definitely. Wow, that's
so, yeah.
What incredible transferable skills as well. That's great that all of that's, and I think that's a lot of things that people miss out in their career is that they don't realize that a lot of the things they've done in the past have given them these amazing transferable skills that they can utilize in their future or into a new career path. They think that once they're doing a certain career, that's it, they're done. But it's not true. So thanks for sharing that, Cherie. That's amazing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Any skills from the past. And I say the same thing with my clients. I try to dig in. What skills did you do? Because every single thing can really help you in either making that transition or even going to the next level into another position.
Exactly. That's brilliant advice. So, Cherie, I know you've gone through a lot of troubles and hard times and worked through amazing things in your life. But what would you say have been some of your biggest mental roadblocks and obstacles that have stopped you in your life? And how have you worked through them?
I think the biggest, really honestly, Paul, I've been such a go-getter. I mean, I refer to myself now as, a 10Xer, right? Grant Cardone's 10X community, right? Where we 10X our goals and, we're big action takers. I've been like that my whole life. I really haven't achieved blocks until my tragedy. And it's more that, it was more for me the physical inability to get out into the world the way everybody else could for so many years as I was recovering, from this near-death tragedy. And so, if I think about my career path, I mean, it really was, I was at the height of my success when I flatlined, right? When I died in my husband's arms. And so everything was going great, right? I mean, even at the time when I was first growing my business, it was exploding. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have mentors like Grant Cardone like we do now. But I was doing it. I was using my skills and somehow fumbling my way through and really growing a thriving business. And, I lost it all during my tragedy because I was incapacitated for so long. I mean, I was in a coma for 3 months. And then I ended up on life support for 4.5 years.
Wow.
So really, Paul, like you are witnessing me right now rebuilding after all these years on life support. And then finally, 2 years ago, I had a heart transplant. And so the biggest block for me was getting home last year, January 2015, finally finishing this years of a tragic fallout from dying. And here I am with a new heart, but because I came home with, I had complications in the middle of surgery, I came home in a wheelchair. So my block, Paul, was that I was stuck on the edge of my bed, staring out at my window and thinking this is the beginning of my new life. I have a new heart, but now it's been how many years? Down to one income with my husband, and I have no ability to go out there and make money because now I've got a year's worth of rehabilitation ahead of me. So when I think of the biggest block, it was that. It was like, how am I going to rebuild my life? How am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to pay my heart transplant medication?
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, Paul, I was in the hospital basically 2 major times. It was one, the day that I flatlined. And that's when I was on the life support, and in the coma. I got home from that tragedy that happened like this and got a bill in the mail for $3 million.
Wow.
$3 million. And, I think when I met like my mentor, Grant, it was one of those things where I had this decision. It was like I was either going to allow my current circumstances to get me down, or the other opportunity was to find somebody that was going to help me literally take my circumstances, transform it to something triumphant, and be able to sustain myself, cover the medical bills, cover my heart transplant. I mean, I was in survival mode.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? And so, that was my biggest block, Paul. And it was all about how am I going to go from crying on the edge of my bed. I can't stand. Like, I can't even stand. That's how bad my rehabilitation needed. Mm. And how was I going to do that? And somehow be on stages sharing my story to impact thousands, maybe millions all over the world. This is where I was last year.
That's so powerful, Cherie. Thank you so much for sharing that heartfelt story. That's incredible. And I think the biggest takeaway for this, for everyone listening, is no matter how bad your circumstances seem, you can always pull yourself out into where you want to get to. A lot of the time, or most of the time, it's just what we put in our head that's stopping us, nothing else. And Cherie and I are huge fans of Grant Cardone. And, it's all about, as she said, 10xing your life, setting massive goals and chasing after it, taking massive action to get where you want to be. So, there's a lesson in that, guys. Don't let anything that's in your head hold you back. Don't let your previous circumstances hold you back. So thank you so much, Cherie.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's such a strong message. I mean, we really can create so much more for our lives than we're currently living. And it's really just about first of all, trusting in your capabilities to overcome where you are right now. And the biggest advice that I can give is absolutely 100%. If you want massive shifts in your life, get a mentor.
Yep.
The fastest way. Yeah.
Exactly. That's brilliant advice. I'll definitely take that on board, guys. And if you need help with a mentor, reach out to me. I'll point you guys in the right direction. So thanks, Cherie. So
you're welcome.
Just wanted to get a bit more. I know you've got this amazing new business, Busting Out of Obscurity. And I absolutely love that term. I love the term Busting Out of Obscurity because it's such a big thing that holds so many people back. They're so afraid of, making themselves known and getting out there in the world. So I'd love you to share a little bit about your business, what you currently do and what you're looking to do for the future.
Yeah, absolutely. So I run an academy, and it's called Busting Out of Obscurity, Leadership and Branding Academy. And it's a training platform, and I help creative, heart-centered, emerging leaders and entrepreneurs that want to share a powerful story that they have, their powerful message or gifts, boldly out there in the world and really create a massive global impact. And to be able to do something like that, to be able to shift people from this old societal training of don't be so loud, don't be so vocal, right? Don't be so visible. Stay humble. Is such a journey for people to be able to come out of that training that is centuries and centuries old.
Definitely.
And to actually come out and break free and free your soul, Paul. This is about freeing your soul. And everything I teach is really connected to my near-death story as well. I mean, this is all about freeing your soul and living a life of no regrets. No regrets. And it's something that we all dream of. We all dream of being able to be authentically us, organically us, transparently us, and wanting to no longer be keeping ourselves small, and to no longer worry about what other people think about us, right? That's what we all want. And we do things. We hire coaches, we do trainings, we do mindset training, we do all these things to try to help us cope with all of these circumstances that come our way, whether it's relationships not working out, jobs not working out, financials not working out. And Busting Out of Obscurity is really about diving deep into your soul and asking yourself, what type of life do you really want to live? And from that place, then excavating everything and actually creating this environment is what I do. I create this safe environment for people to come out and start to express their souls transparently. And it's the most beautiful transformation, Paul. I have taken people that have been bullied their entire lives, bullied for extreme conditions. And I've taken them through this whole journey where at the point that they arrived at me, they couldn't even speak their story. And now they're actually they've transformed all that. And now they're rocking it on their own TV shows.
That's awesome.
Expressing themselves. I mean, it's the most beautiful thing to witness for myself. And really, this is for people that know that they have a very transformational story. And they know without a doubt that their story can actually save lives. And that it is a burning desire deep in their souls that they know that they have to go out there and share it. They just don't know how. And I facilitate that process to help explain to people how I even got my story, interviewed by the History Channel. How did I get published, as one of 16 near-death stories out of 3,800 all over the world? Mine was chosen to get published in this top compilation book. So it's all about how I even myself went from being a really shy person, afraid of the camera, afraid of putting my story out there. I used to cry after sharing my story, like years ago. I used to cry to my husband saying, why did I do that? Why did I just share so vulnerably to the world? I was so embarrassed. And now look at me. I can talk about anything. And this is the process I walk people through, because at the end of the day, it is about living a life of no regrets.
Exactly.
Hands down.
That's perfect, Cherie. I love the sound of that. What an amazing business, and what a perfect person to facilitate that for other people. So it's funny you say that, because I was very similar to you, actually. I was a very shy person, mainly because I'd always been kind of put down and not told things that, I wasn't good enough and wasn't smart enough, that sort of thing. And I think since, one, getting into business and doing my counselling, and also going through Grant Cardone's learnings, to get him on my show, I actually did something, part of his learnings. I said to him, I actually sent him a book straight to his office and left a message on it saying, hey, Grant, it's going to be a disservice not getting you on the show, so I'm going to keep hounding you until you eventually come on my show. So, he'd be honoured to be on my show. So, it's great to finally have him on. So it's funny how you take that action, what you need to do to change your life. It doesn't matter if you're a shy person, you're an introvert or an extrovert, you can always change. So thank you so much for sharing that. That's brilliant.
Absolutely. Yes. And congratulations to you. Grant, my favorite guy.
He's awesome. Yeah. So Cherie, what would you say would be 3 to 5 actionable tips that my audience can take away to help them either progress in their career, to either getting a pay rise or promotion, or to help them stand out in their career?
Absolutely. Number one for me is always, hands down, getting clear on what it is, where you want to go, right? It's actually something that seems kind of common sense, but a lot of times we get so caught up in our heads, right, that we don't even stop to think, well, we know we're not happy where we are, but have we actually sat down and identified what would our dream life look like? What would our dream job look like, right?
Exactly.
So really, that's something that is a religious part of even my daily actions now. I've trained myself to every single day be writing that out. And I think the more you can write that out, it really helps create that world. So number one is definitely getting clear, right? Where do you want to go? Number two is identifying who can help you get there, right? So you're at point A right now, where you are right now. Who's going to get you to point B, right? Who's going to get you from where you are to where you want to go? There is somebody else there that has walked that path. Even if you're at a job already, there's somebody in that business that has achieved maybe the next, level, maybe the promotion you want to get. So reach out to them.
Exactly.
Right? Always reach out to them. Number three, kind of falls in line with all that. And that is definitely asking for help.
Yep.
Asking for help has been the biggest transformation of my business, career, entrepreneurship, whatever you want to call it, hands down. It used to be something I was so afraid to do, Paul. I always felt like I was going to be wasting somebody's time. Why would they want to help little old me? And I realized that they do. Exactly. They actually do. People really actually, at the heart of it, they want to see you succeed.
Exactly.
Right? And so I learned that it's actually okay to reach out and ask for help. So that's a huge thing. So definitely reach out for help. Number 4 is, you've got to be all in. Hands down. If you want to create the world, the job, the business, the opportunities, the relationship, whatever it is, you yourself need to be convinced.
Yep.
So it's all about being committed and being all in. Like, you should feel it in your soul. Because if you're not committed, you're going to put forth action that's kind of half, the intensity that you need, and you're not going to see the results. And number 5 is really my favorite one, which is never give up.
Yeah.
It takes time. Things take time, it doesn't have to take a long time, but I would honestly say from experience, when you come up against those moments where you want to give up, and they're going to happen, so just know that, right? When they come up, you have to sit yourself down and say, this is the point where most people quit. And you have to tell yourself that the only reason that other person is successful is they kept going once they reached that spot. That, Paul, has made the biggest difference for me. I get it now. Whereas all the other times, if I got stumped, I'd be like, I guess I need to do something else. No. You keep going.
Exactly. I love that. That's so powerful and so true. It's the biggest thing, not quitting. That's great. Thank you so much for that. Those 5 great tips, Cherie. So guys, really take notice of that and get out a pen and paper and write that down, or go back and have a good listen to that, because Cherie said some absolute gold there. So Cherie, what would you say is the best career advice that you think you've ever received in your life?
I think the best is really, this is something I've had to learn myself, Paul.
Excuse me.
You have to take the emotions out of business. For somebody like myself that feels other people's hearts, that I'm all about love, and I'm all about giving, and I'm all about helping others. On your way to success, you're going to handle so many different types of personalities. You're going to handle so many different types of people that have completely different values than you. And it is so easy to get swept away in the emotions of it. It's the toughest thing. It really, really is. And I'm not an expert at it yet. I've gotten so much better at it. I've gotten so much stronger. But I've learned that there are moves in business that occur that you may not like. And you have to keep your head on straight and just know that when things don't work out, or something goes wrong, or somebody screws you over, it is always at the end of the day in your best interest in the long term, because there's always a reason something did not work out. There's always a reason that things didn't go the way you wanted to. And I've had to learn to transform disappointments in business as looking at them as blessings. Because if somebody ever did anything to hurt me, my business, anything, that imagine if it didn't happen. Imagine if the incident didn't happen and the relationship continued longer, to the point where then something happened and it was even bigger than the initial incident. So it's something that I've had to transform and look at as it is a sign from the universe, or the powers that be, whoever you want to say, that's saying that was not the route you were meant to go on, that you are meant for greater things. And you have to be able to let it go and move forward, and not let any of those things emotionally stop you in your tracks, because your life is limitless. Yes. And when one door closes, another one opens.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Wow, that's brilliant, and I completely agree. There's always a lesson to be learned, or there's always a chance to grow from even the negative experiences that happen in your life. I think too many of us dwell on these negative experiences and don't actually step back, reflect, and go, what can I learn from this experience, or how can I grow and move forward from this, or how can I change direction from this? So that's great, Cherie. That's such powerful advice there.
Thank you. Thank you.
I've got a bit of a random question to ask you now, and I ask all my guests. Okay. Obviously, from the career counselling background, I've got a question called the miracle question. So imagine if you went to sleep tonight, Cherie, and a miracle occurred overnight. You woke up tomorrow morning feeling great, and this miracle had transformed everything you really wanted in your life, and you can make a massive impact doing anything or changing anything in the world. What would you do, and why would you do that?
I definitely, for me, I just see myself reaching millions of people. I see my message, my story of hope, of inspiration. Paul, there are so many unhappy people in the world. And, there's a lot going on. We're being fed a lot of information that makes the world seem small and scary. And the truth is, it's not. But we don't really know that because we live in a bubble, right? And it's nobody's fault. It's just that's how society is set up. We're kept in a very small cocoon. And I really see myself partnering with massive global influencers to really just get this message out there that I have to share of just living this life of no regrets and understanding how to shift to a powerful new perspective on how to exist here on planet Earth. It sounds like a big shift, but it's possible. And really the way into creating our dreams, into happiness, into peace and love and harmony is really being able to shift your perspective and understanding that the world is much greater than you are experiencing in this moment.
Definitely.
So, yeah, that's like my dream.
That's brilliant. And what an incredible dream that is. That's really, really good. Cherie, so what would you say, touching on happiness, what would you say would be the core of complete happiness to you, both at work and at home?
Oh, great question. For me, I actually teach this. It's my 3 moves to your best life. And it's really simple, Paul. It's live, laugh, love. Yep. These 3 areas, living your life to the fullest, living a life of no regrets, busting out of obscurity, and no longer playing this small game on this magnificent planet. Laughing. One of the biggest things that I've learned, Paul, when I was on life support for 3 months, I was living a nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare, like scariest environment imaginable, right? You wake up, you're hooked up to millions of machines and tubes and just a nightmare. And I'll never forget, like how can it feel any lower than that? I mean, you just don't even feel human. You don't even feel human, right? You can't even get up and go to the bathroom. You just don't feel human. Just everything taken away from you, everything that we take for granted every single day, just stripped away from you, stripped away. And this one doctor used to come visit me every day, and he said, one thing, Paul. He said, have you lost your sense of humor? And I remember looking at him when he first started saying that, and just, I'm hooked up to tubes. I can't talk. I've got tubes down my throat. And I'm so mad. Why is he saying that? What's funny about this? And this guy continued to show up every single day. And he would always ask me, and I would cry, and I would try to scribble because I couldn't really write after being in a coma. And they would give me pen and paper, and I'd try to scribble, what kind of life was this? Why did everybody save me? I was gone. I was in the afterlife. Why did you save me? And all he would say is, have you lost your sense of humor? And Paul, after him coming in every single day, and that's the only thing he said, I started to find humor in being on life support. I started to find the ridiculousness of how my life ended up sitting there like a scene out of a sci-fi, like The Matrix. And I started to get it. And he kept showing up for 3 months, asking me that one question. And it really sunk into my head to the point where I started asking myself that if I ever had bad days during my recovery. And now when I get so caught up in business, when I get so hurt from things, you know, I come right back down to, Cherie, have you lost your sense of humor?
Wow.
Laughter is huge, Paul. I had to laugh at myself being on a portable life support device when I came home. The one I was on, it was a bionic heart attached internally, externally, and I had a walker in my 30s. I mean, completely disabled. Do you know that I got to the point where I was laughing hysterically with my friends and I? We would joke. At night, Paul, I had to plug myself in. I was a machine. I had to plug myself into the wall alongside my phone, my iPad, right? My nightlight. And we found laughter in it. I would laugh and say the bionic heart that I was on during the day, if I wasn't plugged on into the wall, I had 2 massive batteries that were probably 4 times the size of this.
Wow.
They together, they weighed about 6 pounds. I was attached to a ball and chain. I had a controller and 2 mega batteries. And we would joke during the day, people, like if we went to the movies, they'd say, how many bars do you have left? Because the batteries would go down just like on a phone. And so, or at night, my husband would be like, how many batteries do you have left? Do you need to go plug into the wall? And I'd be like, I have 1 bar left. He'd be like, okay, time to get your pajamas on and get into bed. That was my life, Paul, for 4.5 years before my transplant. I found laughter in the fact that I was a machine. I was the bionic woman. And where everybody else is looking at their phone to see how much battery power they have left, I was looking at my life support. How much battery do I have left? Do we need to get home because I'm running out of batteries? I had to laugh through that, Paul, right? And the last is love. There's nothing more powerful that I learned during those 90 minutes that doctors couldn't resuscitate me. I journeyed into, what medical researchers define as a near-death experience, where I experienced a whole other world called the afterlife, heaven. I got to experience the lightness of being burden-free. I know what it was like to die. I know what it was like to live free of all the burdens, all the little tiny, minute issues that weigh us down so heavy every day. And so coming back here from heaven, it is always natural for me now to release. When things start to get heavy, I have to release. Because it is so painful for me now that I've experienced heaven. Being in the physical world is so different.
Definitely.
And heaven was so powerful. It was so loving. It was so beautiful. And there's this longing to just want to recreate that. So I talk a lot about how we actually can create heaven on earth here. And I do it by always tapping into what I have now experienced as heaven. So my compass is always, am I getting too heavy in this 3D world? And so for me, the best way to lighten up that load is to love. And that's why you see me on social media. You see me with people. I give my heart. I give my heart, right? So it's all about love. I've built my entire new business on loving, on showing up and sharing my heart. Just love. I've reached out, right, to people like Grant, and he feels my love. It's powerful.
Definitely.
And I honestly believe that if you can do those three things, if you can really embrace those three things in your life and strip yourself away from all the other negativity and make those a priority, I honestly believe those are the three moves to your best life.
Wow. I'm just blown away by that. That's incredible. And what an amazing gauge to be able to have experienced that, which pretty much nobody gets to experience and come back from. And then to gauge that back here on Earth to know when things are getting too heavy. So what an amazing gift you've got to share now, Cherie. So thank you. That's absolutely blown me away. That's incredible.
Thank you.
Cherie, we're just looking to wrap up now anyway, but so I'd just love to know from our audience, where's the best way to get in contact with you, by your social media or your website? What's some of the best ways people can get in touch with you?
Yeah, the easiest way is to just go to my website, which is just my name. So Cherie Aimee, CherieAimee.com. And that will link you to not only some of my videos, my blogs. You can even set up a free 10-minute call with me on the site for anybody that wants to connect with me. And you can also connect to my social media off of the site. So that's probably the easiest way. So yeah, I would absolutely love, I'm definitely open to, especially your community, the people that you reach, if they want to reach out to me. Absolutely. I would love to chat with them and see, how I can support them, how I can help them. So yeah.
That's brilliant, Cherie. Thank you so much for being on the show. You've just blown, I'm sure you've blown myself and my audience away with the absolute amazing content and your experience you've gone through and what you've successfully gone through. So, Cherie, I just wanted to say how proud I am of you. You're an absolutely inspiring person.
Thank you so much, Paul. I really appreciate this. And really, your friendship means the world to me. And I'm so proud of you. So congratulations again for creating this blog, this podcast, for us to come on here and just share our message. I appreciate you and it's an honor, it really is, for you to include me in your lineup. I'm very blown away.
Anytime, Cherie. I also wanted to welcome you to the Career Breakthrough Tribe. So thank you so much for being on. And guys, I'll put all the show notes in the below. You can check it out with Cherie's website. And I'll also chuck in her Facebook group because I'm part of that. And it's absolutely incredible. You guys need to be in there. It's just such an uplifting place with incredible entrepreneurs throughout the world. So yeah, be sure to check that out. Thank you again, Cherie. I really appreciate your time. And guys, stay tuned next week. We've got Grant Cardone on. Can't wait to share that with you guys. Thanks again, Cherie.
Thank you, Paul. Bye, everyone. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for watching another episode of the Career Breakthrough series. If you've really enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any future episodes and incredible content that's going to be coming out. Guys, thank you very much for being fans, and I look forward to sharing next week's episode with you.